CDL Practice Test, California. Combination Vehicles. Part 3. Question number 54. The tractor protection valve will close and the trailer brakes will come on when there is a major leak in the brake line. A. Service. B. Parking. C. Emergency. The correct answer is here. C. Emergency. Explanation. The tractor protection valve keeps air in the tractor if the trailer breaks away or develops a bad leak. If air pressure drops too low in the service line, the tractor protection valve will close. This stops air from escaping from the tractor and lets air out of the trailer emergency line, causing the trailer emergency brakes to come on. Question number 55. The fifth wheel locking lever is not locked after the jaws close around the kingpin. This means that A. The trailer will not swivel on the fifth wheel. B. The parking lock is off and you may drive away. C. The coupling is not right and should be fixed before you drive the coupled unit. The correct answer is here. C. The coupling is not right and should be fixed before you drive the coupled unit. Explanation. Don't drive the vehicle until you're sure that the coupling is correct. Check to make sure of the following. There is no space between the upper and lower fifth wheel. The fifth wheel jaws have closed around the shank of the kingpin. The locking lever is in the lock position, and the safety latch is in position over the locking lever. If anything isn't right, don't drive the vehicle until you've found and corrected the problem. If you drive it anyway, your trailer could come loose while you're driving. Question number 56. Even before anti-lock braking systems, ABS, were required, some vehicles already had them. How can you check if your vehicle has ABS? A. Brake the vehicle on a slippery road and see if the wheels lock. B. Look under the vehicle for the ABS test light. C. Look under the vehicle for the EQ and wheel speed sensor wires coming from the back of the brakes. The correct answer is here. C. Look under the vehicle for the EQ and wheel speed sensor wires coming from the back of the brakes. Explanation. You can tell if your vehicle has ABS by looking under the vehicle for the electronic control unit, EQ, and wheel speed sensor wires leading from the back of the brakes. Question number 57. If the trailer has anti-lock brakes, ABS, but the tractor doesn't, A. It doesn't make it more or less likely that the trailer will swing out. B. The trailer is more likely to swing out. C. The trailer is still less likely to swing out. The correct answer is here. C. The trailer is still less likely to swing out. Explanation. Even if only the trailer has ABS, there is less chance that its wheels will lock and it will swing out, though it can still happen. If it does, let up on the brakes until you regain control. Question number 58. What test do the following steps describe? Charge the trailer air brake system. Check that the trailer can move without limitation. Stop and pull out trailer air supply control. Use the tractor to pull the trailer forward gently to see if the emergency brakes turn on. A. Testing tractor protection valve. B. None of these. C. Testing trailer service brakes. D. Testing trailer emergency brakes. The correct answer is here. D. Testing trailer emergency brakes. Explanation. The steps listed describe the test for emergency brakes when you're inspecting the brake system. Question number 59. Combination vehicles take longer to stop when they are empty than when they fully loaded, because A. The center of gravity is lower, B. You're unlikely to brake as hard, C. There is less traction. The correct answer is here, C. There is less traction. Explanation. Trucks that are empty or only lightly loaded take longer to stop because the stiff suspension, springs and strong brakes give poor traction and make it easier to lock the wheels. Question number 60. There are two things that a driver can do to prevent a rollover. They are go slow around corners and A. Make sure that the brakes are properly balanced. B. Use the trailer hand valve before the brake pedal. C. Keep both hands firmly on the steering wheel. D. Keep the weight of your cargo as close to the ground as possible. The correct answer is here, D. Keep the weight of your cargo as close to the ground as possible. Explanation. The following two things will help you prevent rollover. 1. Keep the cargo as close to the ground as possible, and 2. Drive slowly around turns. Keeping cargo low is even more important in combination vehicles than in straight trucks. Question number 61. If the brakes did not release when you pushed the trailer air supply valve, you should A. Check the airline connections. B. Check the electrical cables. C. Cross the air lines. The correct answer is here, A. Check the airline connections. Explanation. If you cross the emergency and service air lines, air will flow to the service line instead of the trailer air tanks. Air won't be available to release the spring brakes. Therefore, if the spring brakes don't release when you push the trailer air supply control, check the airline connections. Question number 62. Which of the following is the best action you could take when the parking brakes don't release? A. Change the service and emergency airline connections because they're broken. B. Report it to a supervisor at your earliest convenience. C. Don't use the spring brakes for any reason. D. Check the airline connections. The correct answer is here, D. Check the airline connections. Explanation. Sometimes, the service and emergency airlines can be switched up, so you need to check the airline connections to ensure that the airlines are connected to the right places. If not, then the air used to release the parking spring brakes will not be available. Question number 63. How can you test that air flows to all trailers? A. Open shut-off valves on both airlines at the rear of the tractor. B. Speed up and hit the brakes hard to check their performance. C. Shut off the engine and listen for air leaks. D. Open shut-off valves on both airlines at the rear of the last trailer. The correct answer is here, D. Open shut-off valves on both airlines at the rear of the last trailer. Explanation. To test that air reaches all the way to the back of the last trailer, you can open shut-off valves at the rear of the last trailer. On both the service and the emergency lines, you should hear the air escaping. Close the valves. If you do not hear the air escaping from both lines, check to see that the shut-off valves on the previous trailer tractor are in the open position. Question number 64. What is off-tracking? A. Driving your truck off the road. B. Swerving on the road when you lose control of your steering. C. When truck trailers swing from side to side. D. When the rear wheels go a different path than the front wheels. The correct answer here. D. When the rear wheels go a different path than the front wheels. Explanation. A vehicle traveling in a straight line will have all the wheels following the steering wheels. When a vehicle goes around a corner, the rear wheels take a shortcut. This is called off-tracking. Cheating. The last wheels off-track the most. Long trailers off-track more than short trailers. Question number 65. When should the trailer hand valve, trolley valve or Johnson bar be used? A. When the trailer is in a skid jackknife. B. During normal mountain driving. C. When driving on snow ice. D. When testing trailer brakes. The correct answer here. D. When testing trailer brakes. Explanation. The trailer hand valve operates only the trailer brakes. It should only be used to test the trailer brakes. Do not use the trailer hand valve while driving. This could cause the trailer brakes to lock up and cause a skid and or jackknife. Do not use the trailer hand valve to straighten out the trailer during a jackknife. This will make a bad situation worse. Question number 66. You cross the air lines when hooking up to an old trailer. What will happen? A. The hand valve will apply the tractor brakes instead of the trailer brakes. B. If the trailer has no spring brakes, you will be able to drive away but you won't have trailer brakes. C. The brake lights will come on when the brake pedal is pressed. The correct answer is here. B. If the trailer has no spring brakes, you will be able to drive away but you won't have trailer brakes. Explanation. Trailers built before 1975 are not required to have spring brakes. If you cross the air lines when coupling such a trailer, you may have nowhere pressure to supply the trailer brakes. You'll be able to drive, but you won't be able to brake the trailer. Always test the trailer air brakes before you start to drive. Question number 67. Glad hands are used to connect the A. Kingpin from the trailer to the locking jaws of the fifth wheel. B. Service and emergency air lines from the truck or tractor to the trailer. C. Electrical lines from the tractor to the trailer. The correct answer is here. B. Service and emergency air lines from the truck or tractor to the trailer. Explanation. Each glad hand has a rubber seal to prevent air from escaping. To connect the glad hands, first clean the seals, then press the two seals together with the glad hands at a 90-degree angle to each other. Question number 68. Describe what the trailer air supply control does. A. It is a 6-sided yellow knob used to control the tractor protection valve. B. It is a device used to keep the trailer behind the tractor. C. It is used to supply the trailer with air, shut the air off, and apply the trailer emergency brakes. The correct answer is here. C. It is used to supply the trailer with air, shut the air off, and apply the trailer emergency brakes. Explanation. On newer vehicles, the trailer air supply control is an 8-sided red knob on the dashboard of the tractor. The knob may be labeled pull to exhaust, push to supply or something similar. When you push the knob in, air will flow through the trailer's emergency air lines to charge the trailer air brake system. Pulling out the knob shuts off the flow of air and causes the trailer emergency brakes to come on. Question number 69. The tractor protection valve is designed to close automatically when the air pressure falls into the pressure range specified by the manufacturer, typically A. 75 to 100 C, B. 50 to 75 C, C. 20 to 45 C. The correct answer is here, C. 20 to 45 C. Explanation. The tractor protection valve keeps air in the tractor or truck brake system should the trailer break away or develop a bad leak. The tractor protection valve is designed to close automatically when the air pressure falls into the range specified by the manufacturer, typically 20-45 C. Question number 70. You are uncoupling a trailer. After you shut off the trailer air supply and lock the trailer brakes, you should A. Immediately apply your tractor parking brakes. B. Begin to lower the trailer landing gear. C. Back up gently to ease pressure on the fifth wheel locking jaws. The correct answer is here, C. Back up gently to ease pressure on the fifth wheel locking jaws. Explanation. When uncoupling, ease pressure on the fifth wheel locking jaws by backing up gently, open bracket. This will help you release the fifth wheel locking lever, then apply the parking brakes while the tractor is pushing against the kingpin. Question number 71. In general, the higher your truck's center of gravity, the A. more stable it is when turning. B. easier it is to turn around corners. C. easier it is to turn over. The correct answer is here, C. easier it is to turn over. Explanation. When you stack cargo high in a trailer, you raise its center of gravity, which makes the trailer more prone to rolling over. A fully loaded tractor trailer is 10 times more likely to roll over in a crash than an empty one. Question number 72. What are the other names for the service airline? A. Curb line and signal line. B. Control line and signal line. C. Straight line and control line. The correct answer is here, B. Control line and signal line. Explanation. The service airline is also known as the control line or signal line. Question number 73. The best way to tell if your trailer has started to skid is to A. Feel for pulling in the cab. B. Hear the wheels skidding. C. See it in your mirrors. The correct answer is here, C. See it in your mirrors. Explanation. The earliest way to notice that your trailer is jackknifing is to see it swinging out in your mirrors. Question number 74. While you check if the rear trailer is securely coupled to the front trailer, the landing gear should be A. Slightly raised. B. Fully raised. C. Fully lowered. The correct answer is here, A. Slightly raised. Explanation. After you've backed under the trailer and locked the kingpin into the fifth wheel, raise the landing gear slightly, then with the trailer brakes still locked, gently pull the tractor forward to check that the trailer is locked onto the tractor. Question number 75. Which of these types of vehicle is harder to control while stopping? A. Larger vehicles with no trailers. B. Larger combination vehicles with loaded trailers. C. None of these. Motorized vehicles all stop at the same rates. D. Larger combination vehicles that have no cargo in the trailers. The correct answers here. D. Larger combination vehicles that have no cargo in the trailers. Explanation. When a truck is empty, the stiff suspension and strong brakes, combined with limited traction, can cause the rear wheels of a trailer to lock up. This can cause it to skid or swing out and hit other vehicles. Question number 76. When does the tractor protection valve close automatically? A. When the air pressure is low and reaches 30C to 55C. B. When the air pressure is high and reaches 45 to 60C. C. It doesn't close off automatically, you need to close the valve yourself. D. When the air pressure is low and ranges from 25C to 45C. The correct answers here. D. When the air pressure is low and ranges from 25C to 45C. Explanation. The tractor protection valve closes to stop any air from coming out. When pressure reaches 25C to 45C, the valve closes automatically. Question number 77. The air leakage rate for a combination vehicle, engine off, brakes off, should be no more than C per minute. A. 1. B. 2. C. 4. D. 3. The correct answers here. D. 3. Explanation. The air loss rate should be less than 2C in 1 minute for single vehicles and less than 3C in 1 minute for combination vehicles when no brakes are engaged. Question number 78. When you drive a set of doubles, which shut-off valve must be closed in the last trailer? A. Back. B. Middle section. C. Front. The correct answers here. A. Back. Explanation. The shut-off valve should be closed only at the rear of the last trailer so that air will flow to the brakes of all trailers but no farther. Question number 79. To apply more or less pressure to the trailer brakes, which of the following does the service line connect to? A. Foot brakes. B. Tractor protection valve. C. Emergency service line. D. Relay valves. The correct answers here. D. Relay valves. Explanation. The service line connects to the relay valves to give more pressure to trailer brakes. Question number 80. You are driving with double trailers and must use your brakes to avoid a crash. For emergency braking, you should A. Push the brake pedal as hard as you can and hold it there. B. Use only the trailer brakes. C. Use controlled or stab braking. The correct answers here. C. Use controlled or stab braking. Explanation. Hard braking and turning at the same time is likely to cause a skid. You should brake in a way that will keep your vehicle in a straight line and allow you to turn if it becomes necessary. If you need to brake suddenly to avoid a crash, use controlled braking or stab braking, but don't use stab braking if your vehicle has anti-lock brakes. Question number 81. You should not back a tractor under a trailer until the whole air system is A. bled down to half the maximum pressure, B. between 60 and 80 C. at normal pressure. The correct answer is here, C. at normal pressure. Explanation. Before backing under a trailer while coupling, make sure that the air pressure is at normal levels to ensure you'll be able to brake safely. Question number 82. In normal driving, some drivers use the hand valve before applying the brake pedal to prevent a jackknife. Which of these statements is true? A. It results in less skidding than using the brake pedal alone. B. It is the best way to brake and keep the truck in a straight line. C. It should not be done. The correct answer is here, C. It should not be done. Explanation. The trailer hand valve, also called the trolley valve or Johnson bar, works the trailer brakes. The trailer hand valve should be used only to test the trailer brakes. Do not use it in driving because of the danger of making the trailer skid.